She Is Serious, a podcast where we showcase female athletes and their impact beyond the game. Each week, we will be bringing on influential women in the world of sports and showing why they are so much more than athletes. My name is Taylor Hall. I'm a health and fitness influencer and collegiate athlete at Biola University. And this is my sis, my co-host, Ashley White. What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, hey, my name is Ashley White, a former student athlete manager for UNCW's women's basketball, a blogger, writer for Beautiful Ballers, and an advocate for women in sports. Thank you for tuning in weekly to She Is Serious podcast. And this is why female athletes are now to be taken seriously.
Hey sis, welcome back to another episode of She Is Serious. Today we have a special guest on with us, someone that me and Ash both know from about a year ago now. Machaela Simmons, how are you doing today? We're excited to hear your story and what you got going on.
Awesome, yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Yay! That's super awesome. I'm super happy that you're here because, girl, let me tell you, it's been a long time.
It's been too long.
Too long. So, yes. So.
No, what's crazy is me and Machaela, I think, met over social media. Mm-hmm. And when I asked her to be on the podcast, I was like, hey, me and my co-host, Ashley White, blah, blah, blah. And then I told Ashley about Machaela. She's like, huh, Machaela Simmons? I was like, yeah. She goes, oh my gosh, I know her from way back in the day. Yeah. And I said, small world, because I had no idea the two of you knew each other.
Yeah, we go way back, like at least a couple years. So
yeah, because I did like a few designs for Duquesne, like some of the players, but like I had like the assistant, like kind of help the assistant coaches with like say the recruit design. So I was the one that did like the designs, and then they would put the designs on like the envelopes that people would receive for recruiting. So I was like, I did that. So, but
that's crazy.
So yeah, it is a small world after all. So yeah.
Right? No, that's my favorite ride at Disney, by the way. No, but Machaela, tell us a little bit about your sports story.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've pretty much just been only basketball like my whole life. So I had like a pretty good basketball career in high school. I did tear my ACL like right before my senior year. And then I had like some interest and offers from some schools I really wanted to go to, but as soon as I tore my ACL, they kind of ripped them, right? So I didn't really have a lot of options like coming out of senior year. So I decided to walk on for Duquesne because they had like a 6-year physical therapy program, and I really wanted to do physical therapy, but everywhere else it was like 7. I'm like, I'm not doing 7 years of school, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting connected with the coach at Duquesne. I went up to Duquesne not really even knowing if I would be on the team or anything. It wasn't like set in stone. But once I was on campus, he let me pretty much try out. I made the team, and then I was on that team for about 3 years. And then, yeah, now I'm retired. My knees are retired. So, yeah.
Girl, we both have that in common. My knees are retired as well.
They're out of commission, bro. They're done.
Yeah. No, not the knees. Not the knees. No,
they're done.
It's terrible. Every time I walk, it's like I'm crackling. Yeah. I can't sneak up on anybody with these knees.
No, they're loud. They're pretty loud.
Oh. Yeah. So what made you want to, like, is there times where you miss basketball even though you're kind of like in the retirement stage?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I feel too like I miss it extra because I hadn't expected to stop playing so soon. Like I still had like 2 or 3 years of eligibility left when I chose to retire. So I was like, it was the better decision for me to stay just where I was at and let go of basketball instead and just finish out school. But I definitely felt like I wasn't ready to do that. I wasn't ready to leave basketball yet. So it was really, really hard. I definitely miss it, but I think I enjoyed it so much too, to where it was like, I'm kind of at peace with it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Girl. So how was that experience walking onto a team? Was it super scary?
Yeah, no, the whole process, like it wasn't even just the walk-on process that was scary. It was just like being a walk-on is kind of like you're constantly, like I would, people is like you're constantly just kind of walking on ice because you know that your position there is not solidified. Like you made the
Mm-hmm.
team and that's great, but it's like every day you're in competition to keep your spot. And I don't think
Mm.
that I definitely didn't expect that dynamic. I think it too depends on like where you go and like the culture surrounding walk-ons. I have some friends that walked on and their experience wasn't like that. So I don't know. But at the same time, it was so just like enjoyable to be a part of that. So it had its drawbacks. It definitely, um, it was hard. It was really, really difficult, but I think it's one of those things that looking back on it, I'm okay with it because it made me a lot better. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure that was such an experience that shaped you into who you are today. Like I always say, sports don't really define us, but they shape us into who we are. So definitely now, you being a hard worker, getting into the health and fitness industry, can you tell us a little bit more about what influenced you to get into that
yeah, for
space?
sure. I mean, like it kind of piggybacks off of my experience as a walk-on. So I was filled with so much anxiety, like constantly, like so where like that third year, I would get on the court and practice, or just even walking into the gym for practice, and I would just feel like this wave, just like this overwhelming anxiety. I didn't even want to be doing it because of how nervous I was getting, because it just felt like, I couldn't make a mistake. So I had a lot of anxiety then that then transferred to doing anything with exercise, because obviously like at that level everything I was doing exercise wise was under the context of like being on the team and everything like that. So when I left, it was really hard for me to find movement for myself that wasn't so anxiety inducing, and like that I just hated. Like for a while I didn't go to the gym. I couldn't step inside of a gym without like just getting really, really, really uncomfortable. So that's kind of like what motivated me, once I found that for myself and found a way to make that work for myself, really help motivate others to do the same. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
So, what influenced you to start the Get Mactive or Get Active? Please, like, correct me if I
No,
did
yeah,
said
Get
it
Mactive.
wrong.
That's
So,
that's right. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the way that started is kind of just awkward, because I had originally just been putting up a bunch of like weird random workout videos on my personal like Instagram. Because I was working at LA Fitness and we would just do random stuff like in khakis, and I just thought it was hilarious. But then, um,
I remember
yeah,
that.
we would just like on a lunch break go and just do like random stuff, and someone slid up and they were like, "Why don't you just start a fitness account?" I'm like, "Well, that would make a lot more sense than doing what I'm currently doing." So that's kind of how Get Mactive got started. It was supposed to be like a collaboration type deal because I wasn't too sure of myself. So I wanted to like rely on other trainers and stuff for like content. And like for a while that was actually kind of cool, but it was coming from a place of like not being confident in like my voice and what I had to offer yet. So now it's kind of evolved to like I'm really kind of taking the reins on the content that I'm putting out. Um, but yeah, that's how that started. It was a lot different back then.
that's awesome because I feel like fitness and health, they of course they coexist with one another, and I feel like when you describe like the anxiety, like I feel like anxiety is a huge thing when it comes to mental health as well. Do you feel like it applied to like another? You think it kind of is like another factor why you started to get active as well, to like as a way to cope your
Yeah, yeah,
mental
no,
health?
like I think there's a lot of people that tell me today like the stuff I really like the stuff that you put up, and I really like when you post this or that, but when I post things, especially the things related to anxiety, I'm mostly just talking to myself. Like most of these posts is just me either speaking to myself currently or saying something that I really wish someone had told me back when I was really struggling with anxiety, especially as it pertains to movement. Like that's literally what generates all of it. So I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree that that's really where it comes from.
For sure.
Yeah, so I know like whenever you post things, it's super inspiring for me, and I'm sure so many other athletes too, because just seeing the things that you can do with your body and then how you're implementing that into your daily life is great. So have you had other people kind of slide up, or you notice you are making an impact in their
Yeah, I
lives?
mean, thank you for that. First of all, I think the main thing that I'm seeing, because I've had people demo like some of my programs and stuff like that, and like the number one thing people are the most excited about is the fact that when you start paying attention to training your mind and training your body together, like really what you're doing is you're just unlocking like a whole new level of showing yourself what you can do. And like taking that and allowing it to apply to every other aspect of your life is really what fitness is about. Like I don't think, to me, like I don't know, I'm probably going to get a lot of like blowback from this because I'm literally a trainer, but I don't think exercising in and of itself is ever really that fun. Like it feels bad, like, you know, it's tiring, like it is what it is, you know. But like what you gain from that, like the
Yeah.
discipline, the commitment, the community, like all of it is worth it. You know, like when you can wake up in the morning and you start your day doing something really hard, you know, or like you wait after a full day of work to go and still do something really hard for yourself that benefits you. Like people use these things as building blocks to show themselves what they can really do. And I think that's where the real like benefit, you know, of fitness and health is. And I think really people are just using kind of some of these concepts that I talk about and applying that to their lives, and they like get really excited. So it's cool to see.
How important do you feel like the community is when it comes to the health and fitness
I think
world?
it's the most important. I think you can't do it alone. I think I've tried to do it alone, but I had not gotten anywhere until I got like two or three really good mentors. You know, before that, I feel like it was just running in circles. So I think it's the most important to have a good, solid community of people around you, especially when you're talking about something like a fitness journey.
Absolutely. So who were those mentors and then how did you get connected with
Yeah,
them?
actually, so the first mentor, her name's Erin, and I met her through. Have you guys heard of like athletes, divisionaries? Yeah,
Yes,
Yes.
Morgan Jones is the, oh, I
yeah,
know
Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah,
Morgan Jones is,
yeah, Morgan and
yeah.
Erin. Yeah, so I got into that my last year of basketball. It was my last year. I didn't know it was going to be my last year yet, but that's the year I'm so glad you guys know them because they're really good people. But yeah, I got really close with Erin because for that athletes to visionaries program, we had like a retreat at the very end in Florida. And me and Erin were both from Virginia, so we just drove down to Florida together. And on that road trip, like she just fed into me like so much wisdom and knowledge, and like she was just able to help me reframe my thinking. And like those conversations is really what got me started in thinking in more of a mindful
Mhm.
way. But another mentor I had, his name's Coach Chris, and he was my strength and conditioning coach. So, I mean, he had the biggest impact on me and like making me feel valued as an athlete. You know, even when I was a walk on, wasn't really
Mhm.
bringing a lot, you know, he made me feel valued and made me excited to come every day. So those two were probably the most instrumental in the very, very beginning and still are.
Do you feel like the things that you have taken from that you like learned from athletes to visionaries, since a lot of people like I've seen so many athletes go and use those vision boxes, do you think it has applied to not only the health and fitness world of your life but also the
Oh,
outside
I'm
world?
gonna keep it real with you. Like, I did not think there was any real value in that until I did it. And throughout the year, like I could just start seeing things that were on my board just start literally popping up. Like I can't explain it. Like, yeah, no.
That's
I
crazy.
was like super skeptical. I was not at all a believer in like the vision boards and stuff like that until they made us do it. And since then I make my own. Like I made one this past year for this year. Um, just because like I mean I feel like there's proof in it now. Like you know, I'm glad they told us to. But yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, I think there's definitely proof in the pudding with those vision boards and manifestation. I didn't believe in that at first either. I was like, oh, whatever. I don't need that. Like, I'm mentally tough enough. I'll just get through it. And I had these goals set, but I was never really specific with my goals. So I think the vision board, when I started making those too, it was really hard. It took me forever because I was like, oh, I have to be actually specific, like set a time frame, set exactly what I want, and then manifesting it and really believing that every single day. Same thing. I started to notice it. I started to notice it in my everyday life. Like, wow, these little changes are made here and there, and it's really crazy because you don't think it's going to actually work until you do
Yeah,
it.
that's a perfect way of saying it. You don't think it'll actually work until you do it, and like now I'm hooked. So
No, yeah,
All I know is for me, I've like started writing note cards just because I mean, I did like a digital like vision board just because like it did some graphic designs and then like whatever and stuff. But like the note cards, I put like some note cards and write like what I want that I see myself doing and stuff. And I was like, I always find myself looking at it, like even when I do my designs and stuff, it's like, oh, okay. But I feel like it's important to like not only believe in yourself, but believe that you see yourself doing
Mm,
something. Because you
Hmm.
know, it's you have to see yourself doing. Sometimes you can't rely on everybody else to like help you with it. You got to put the work ethic in it as well. Because faith without works is dead. So you got to put yourself faith with the works
right.
into it. Play.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. I think just being forced to be specific with yourself, I think that's really believing in yourself because I feel like when you're playing with some goals and some ideas in your mind that are just so like out there that you don't even want to say them out loud, and when you can be specific enough to write them down somewhere, or like keep them somewhere, I think that's when you really know you believe in yourself because you're making it real. I think sometimes I think people are a little bit scared of their vision and what they want to do, and that's why they keep it vague because they don't want to make it real yet. It's a little too daunting, and scary. So, yeah.
What's
So
the
what are some
Go ahead, Taylor. I'm sorry. My bad. My
No, no,
bad.
no, you're all good. You're all good. If there's sometimes there's a lag, so it's like hard.
What do you feel like what do you see yourself 5 years from now with like your health, fitness, and then like as you as a person?
So 5 years from now, I'm hoping that I can have like a way to continue to motivate people in terms of like starting and continuing their own wellness journeys. Um, Whether that's through like app programs, like social media, I want that to be a very consistent and main part of my life 5 years from now. Um, as a person, I want to, there's things that I have to definitely grow with and improve on. So I'm hoping that, I can also become a much better person 5 years from now. I'd hope that, I am. Um, and then, yeah, hopefully practicing some physical therapy. I want to have healthy relationships. Those are some of my main goals for 5 years from now.
What are some things that you wrote down that you've seen really happen in your life?
Yeah, I mean, well, for starters, one of the like, so when you guys made the vision boards, like, did they tell you like it doesn't matter kind of like why this picture is kind of speaking to you or like why you'd want to put this on there? Just put it on there and like trust it. Because like that
Yeah.
happened to me. So like I would go through and like I just remember in specific, like there was like this picture of just free weights. And I, at this time, like this was years ago, I wasn't big on weights. I had pretty much only went to the weight room because I respected the hell out of my coach, you know, and I wanted to be led.
Oh, me
Yeah.
too.
But you couldn't ask me to be like, hey, like, what's this or that about a workout? Like, I didn't care. I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, something just telling me to put this picture of these dumbbells on this thing, and I don't really know why. So, F it. And I put it on there, and like to this day, I look at that and I'm like, that is literally my lifestyle today. That is my bread and butter today. And I would have never predicted it.
Literally, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And that's just one thing on there. That's just one thing on there. There are like several others. Like, this is why I'm telling you, like, it made a believer out of me for sure. It did.
That's insane because I was the same
Yeah.
way, Mac. I literally did not think anything of lifting, of doing any kind of speed agility work or whatever. All I wanted to do is go out there and hoop, like work on my ball handling, my shooting, whatever. I was like, what is it? Go in the weight room. Like, that's, I don't
Yeah.
need that. I don't need to get stronger, whatever. I just need more
Mm-hmm.
skill. And then when I tore my ACL, I started to see like my leg went from this to this because of strength training and everything else in
Mm-hmm.
fitness. And that's what I think made me fall in love with my
Yeah.
fitness journey. So, but to hear you say that same thing and then you put it on your vision board and that's literally your whole brand now,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. And
amazing.
like what kills me is like it's the timing of it. Like this is like way before I had even thought of Get Mactive, way before I had even started putting the pieces together, like in terms of thinking about my own journey with sports. Like, so hey, I mean, hey, I always recommend it to people because I think there's a lot of like, if you just let it happen and just kind of put what you want on the board and be honest with yourself. And like, I think there's a lot of value in that, you know. But yeah, made a believer out of me.
Mm.
I do have a question for both of you guys. Since y'all mentioned that you guys have torn your ACL, does it kind of change the way you operate, whether you walk or run, and like how you utilize your body in an everyday situation?
Tay, if you want, you can go ahead and you
Gosh, that's a great question because honestly, yes. First of all, I feel 20 years older than I am, I swear. It takes me so much longer to get warmed up just because of my knee. And the way that I walk, it's never completely, my leg never goes out completely straight anymore. It always has like a little bit of a bend because it's just not like as pliable as my other one. And then also when I sit down, if you try to sit down like on your feet, you know what I mean, and your knees are bent, dude, it hurts so
yeah.
bad still. It really does. So I think just like stretching, literally walking, warming up for everyday life, I just feel so old.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. Like, I just feel old. Like that's what it did for me.
No,
That's
yeah.
and I'm lucky. Like I literally know someone who's had five.
What?
Yeah,
oh, I knew a girl that had like there was a girl that played at Florida State University and she was on the basketball team and she had like torn her ACL like four
yeah,
different times throughout her career.
yeah,
Insane.
I was like, how do you still
yeah.
play and you tore your ACL four
And that's the thing.
times?
It's like our
Yeah.
bodies are so remarkable. It's like you can always get back into doing those things, but what people don't understand is that it does change how you move. Like it does change kind of like your mental surrounding it. Like it's something you are aware of. Like it's definitely not you get the surgery and you kind of sweep it under the rug. Like it has its effects. Like yeah, I would agree.
Oh, for
Cause
sure. And even like if you're sitting down for a long time, like the other day I was in a long car ride, my knee is
Yeah,
throbbing. It hurts so
yeah,
bad. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. Obviously, we're only going to
yeah,
get older, so it's just probably going to get worse. But
yeah.
thank God I only tore mine twice, you know? I don't think I could tear mine another time and come back. But like
oof.
that's just crazy that people have torn them 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
times. And it's really like a common occurrence, especially in
Yeah,
basketball.
that's cool that you came back from two though. That's what's up. That's hard. That's hard.
But like you said, Mac, it's mostly the mental part because for me, the physical part was like, yeah, I'm going to get back on the court. Like, no matter what, I'm going to get back to working out, exercising because that's just what I love to do. But I think the mental part is the hardest, just getting over that hurdle, getting back into game situations, like especially when you first come back and doing contact, it's
Oh
scary.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I felt like I kind of relied on my brace for a while just 'cause like even way after they told me like you really don't need this anymore. I was like I feel like what if someone just taps my knee? Like what if I you know what I'm saying? Like I was just scared. I was very hesitant,
Yeah.
especially with contact. So yeah.
How did you tear
Oh,
yours? Was it coming down or was it
Yeah,
like,
I was
did you
coming
twist
down, so
it?
I went up for a layup and
oof.
I got bumped a little bit. So I landed with my leg, my right leg was just locked out. And then yeah, but it was
Hmm.
misdiagnosed for like 3 months. They were telling me like it's just a sprain, you can keep playing. Now, mind you, I'm like in the middle of like junior year AAU season, which you know is like that's
The
that
most
is the most
important.
important, right? So like, I was like, okay, fine. If nothing's torn, I'll just keep playing. But I would go out and I would play. My knee would give. I would walking down the stairs, my knee would give out, and I'm like, this isn't working. So I went and finally they got me an MRI, and they were like, yeah, we don't even see your ACL on this image. Like it was just disintegrated by then. Yeah, I
Oh.
know. So I was
What?
like, this is great. So I honestly, I think it was really just me continuing to play on it so much that it really sealed yeah, the surgery was the only option. So,
All y'all's the ACL injuries, it's got me like, but like just hugging my knee real quickly, just like just covering my, just because I've seen so many like players that like either they fall down like some of the games. I'm just like, let me just cover my knee real quickly. I already have a sprained ankle and broken ankle before. That's already enough. But ACL, I ain't never experienced it. Thank Jesus. But still, I'll be like, oh gosh, help us, Lord, clutch pearls. So clutch pearls. But oh Jesus. I do have high key. I can see both of y'all. Y'all should do a collaboration since y'all both in the health and fitness. Y'all should do like a YouTube collaboration because y'all both personal trainers and y'all in that same like health and fitness world. So y'all should do it.
No,
I
I
was
was
about to
just
say
feeling
high key.
I was feeling that calling right now though, Ash, seriously, because that's such a good idea. I forgot that you tore your ACL, Mac, and we're both doing health and fitness. Like that's literally
no,
perfect.
We should act on that. We should act on that. Yeah.
Do it.
We need to do a little message. So stay tuned, everybody. After this Tay times Matt collab coming up, we both have some different kind of insights, I'm sure. So that will be exciting.
Got you.
Mac, do you have like the say an acronym for it, just like Taya as she says, train as yourself? Do you have like an acronym?
I should. Maybe I should get one.
But I like that Get Mactive. Like that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I might just have to keep that.
Yeah, Get Mactive. I was like, ooh, that's clever. Get active,
Get Mactive. It's wild. It's like people will still spell my I, and I'm like, what do you? The Mactive is like M-A-C. I'm just like, I don't really know. Maybe there's like a disconnect still somewhere. Maybe I need like a rebrand. That's funny. Yeah, I need a rebrand.
It's like Mactive is like the maximum active.
Yeah,
Hello.
I think that's where a lot of the confusion is coming from. I think people are really buying into that.
That's so funny. Well, okay, but what do you think is the difference between your mentality when it comes to improving your strength and conditioning compared to whenever you were improving your strength and conditioning as a basketball player?
Honestly, that's a great question because I think it comes down to what's most important to me now, and that's like the level of enjoyment. Because when I was doing strength and conditioning as an athlete, it was solely, I felt like I was always playing catch up or like vying to like get ahead so that I can get opportunity. Like it was never just to better myself. And it was like exhausting because it was always focused on the results of things. If I didn't have the coach I did, then strength and conditioning probably would have drove me into the ground too. But he was such a great person that I was able to it balanced out. But my attitude towards it definitely, was not sustainable. It wasn't healthy. So now it's more of like I do what I can so that, I can enjoy my body for as long as I can. And I like what it does for me. I like what it does for my energy levels. I like knowing I can do certain things, and I like knowing that I'm disciplined in it, and that goes a long way for me. So I think that would be probably the biggest.
Okay.
I would say the same thing for me. Just recently retiring from college hoops, it's like we did the same thing over and over again, the same training programs over. So we never got to choose what we really wanted to do. But now we're getting to challenge our bodies, and making fitness fun is like way better.
Yeah.
And I think I feel so much more excited to go to the gym now because really before, like you said, working out is never something that you're like, oh, this is awesome during it because it really sucks. The feeling that you want is the after feeling, right?
Yeah.
So like,
all I know is when I see her Taylor videos, I be like, hey, I'm like, oh, she say, hey, my girly pops. I be like, hey, my girly pops. Like she about to, I'm like,
yeah. Everyone at work is making fun of me because they're like, hey, girly pop. I'm like, oh my God. It's just a branding thing. You know what it is. But
you need to trademark it, get paid for it. Trademark it, get paid for it, put it on merch and everything.
I just remember this one
video. No one else says girly pops.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. That's all you. That's all you. I just remember you had this one video that I cannot forget where it was like you were doing like a pistol squat on like a ledge, and I'm like, yeah, she's different, bro. Like she's different. I'm like, I'm gonna stay following this account. Like I was tuned in after that. I was locked in.
Oh my gosh, I need to do more of that.
I was locked in.
That's awesome. I need to do more of that stuff.
But so Machaela, I do have one question. I'm sorry, I do have one question, Machaela. What makes you more than an athlete? And if you could tell your younger self what to expect, what would you tell them?
Cool. Well, what wouldn't I tell them at this point? But I think what makes me more than an athlete is just kind of being tapped in to the fact that my value isn't really dependent on what I'm doing in my sport. That's also a message I would
Mm.
relay to myself, when I was an athlete 2, 3 years ago, just because I was kind of caught in that loop for my entire life, and it was really, really nice. Like when you're doing really well and like you're getting all that validation, and it's like you walk around school and it's like, hey, like, yeah, everybody knows like you're an athlete, you're really good at what you do. Like it feels really, really great until you start not performing so well, or you're in a situation where you're not really valued on your team. And then there goes your whole like self-worth system, like your how you value yourself. And that's what happened to me. Um, so I learned a lot through that, but obviously I wouldn't want to go through that twice. So I would want to tell myself in the past, that message.
So where do you see, now that you said that you were in the loop whenever you were playing, and I felt the same exact way as you, from an outsider's perspective, being retired from basketball, when do you look back and you're like, that's hilarious that I was like super into it and it's really not that big of a deal?
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's crazy that you bring that up because I think about that a lot because it's like when we'll be watching, me and my mom used to watch like some NBA games and she'll watch like these guys get so like pissed about like a foul call and they'll start yelling or like she'll be watching the coaches like flip out on the sideline. She'll just be sitting there and she'll just be like, she'll just say all of this over a child's game. And I always like was just I never really fully understand what she meant until after I had left basketball. And I had realized like this entire system that I had built up and based my value as a person on is quite literally a game that we just played on the blacktop as kids. Like it's something that's like
Mhm.
you never really should let it go that far, but that's kind of just what happens. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was just thinking about that to myself the other day. I was like, this is crazy. I really thought it was so serious. If I had a bad practice, I would beat myself up about it all day, every day. And I was just so mad, pissy to other people,
yeah.
probably. And it's like, okay, it was literally a practice. Like, that's so silly. Because I would never, even if I had like a bad workout, it's not like I'm letting that affect my whole day because it's really not that serious. There's so much more to
Yeah.
life. And I think just finding that enjoyment, in life and in health and fitness is really good because it's more balanced that way. Obviously we still have to have discipline. We learned a lot through sport about that. It's like we don't feel like going to the gym every day, but just pushing our bodies and doing something hard, like you said, at the end of our day or starting our day off with something hard is just really something that's
Right.
rewarding.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly put, like balance, all of that, the discipline. I think it's taking kind of like the hard lessons learned through like our experiences as athletes and just using it to help make sure like our health and wellness journey is a good one. So
Well, Mac, thank you so much for sharing about Get Mactive, how you're living Mactively and just doing your thing. And we can't wait to see where you are in a couple weeks from now, in a couple months from now, a couple years from now. I know that you're going to be so successful and you are so amazing. You're so much more than an athlete. So make sure you guys tune in to Mac's channel. And if you haven't already, she has an online platform. Tell us a little bit about your online coaching platform that you have going
yeah,
on.
so right now I'm doing online coaching while I'm at clinicals. So it's through Legion One Training and Performance. I'll program for you through a Team Builder, which I know a lot of other athletes are like accustomed to using. So that's like a pretty
Mhm.
convenient thing. I put in your workouts through Team Builder, make sure we're hitting your goals. And yeah,
Hey, you go, girl. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time for a new episode of She is Serious. And we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Mac.
thank you
You're
for having
awesome.
me. See you guys later.
Peace.